Welcome to Aunty K's, your favorite radical queer indigenous auntie, bringing you tarot every day. Hi folks, and welcome to Aunty K's Tarot. So today I received the Rana George Lenormand. After using the Maybe Lenormand, which is a 52 card deck, I decided I wanted a deck in this style or in Lenormand, and I wanted a BIPOC deck. And I did like the, I'm going to see if there's one here that I can show you. I did like, there is, how the Maybe Lenormand had the little keys for the cards, which included pictures for the court cards. And so I thought I probably wanted something like that. I looked at several decks, and then I came across the Rana George. And the Rana George Lenormand is a Lebanese deck. Rana George is Lebanese. This deck is a deck she created based on what she wanted in a deck that made her think of home, think, you know, of her people and their past and, you know, the stories she grew up with. And it is gorgeous. The guidebook is great. I used it for work today. And so I think I did about 14 or 15 calls today, and I use this on every one of them, and I really, really enjoyed it. The guidebook is great. So the introduction talks about why she made this deck, which I went over a little bit, and then we get into the cards. And so the cards have numbering system in Arabic numbers, which we commonly use in the English world, and this numbering system, which is currently used in the Arab world. And so this is how the guidebook is set up. So we're going to look at the rider entry for the guidebook, and this is the card. And we're going to look at the cards more closely in a moment. The determined looking rider and horse are coming in from out of town for a special mission, or perhaps they're on their way to deliver an important message. And then we have two quotes. In the case of news, we should always wait for the sacrament of confirmation. And that's by Voltaire. And then we have none loves a messenger who brings bad news. And this is by Sophocles. In a reading, the writer is about movement, news, information, delivery, something or someone coming or visiting. When the writer is in the last position in a reading, the movement is outward instead of inward. Whether the writer represents news or people, it is going out rather than in. Watch the position and the location of the writer. It can also be as simple as the messenger or a new person. Context. Samira had a fight with her boyfriend. She is torn between pleasing her family and her relationship with Fadi. Question, should I let him go? Coffin plus rider plus ring plus heart. Answer, no, go after him. Make peace and fix it. This card combination screams reconciliation, and the rider is telling her to go after what her heart desires. Context. Michael is waiting for a loan. Question, what will happen? Rider plus cross. Answer, sorry, the feedback coming in is not in your favor. So there's a few more sample questions, and then each section has the Rana George Lenormand and then that card. So in this case, rider. During the early 20th century, Lebanon was part of the French colonial empire. That mandate lasted from 1920 to 1943. Today, Lebanon is trilingual and a heavy French influence is still widely apparent. French is widely spoken throughout Lebanon and is taught and used as a medium of education. My rider card is a French official coming to town on a formal mission. So this is how every card is set up. I didn't read through the whole guidebook yet, but I have read a bit. And there are 4 extra cards, which I read. And they are Spirit, Incense Burner, Bed, and Market. And I decided to use all 4 of those. It comes with 4 people cards, a modern and a period man, and a modern and a period woman. And I kept the period ones. When I'm doing this, I will often just assign them as you know, there's lots of other men and women in the deck. And if there's a person of interest, I'll assign one of them as a person of interest regardless of gender, to be honest. All right, so let us look at the deck. It is not in order because I have been using it all day. So this is card 1. This is the rider. There's gold foil on the fronts and on the backs. They're really gorgeous. Let's do this for everyone's visual enjoyment here. All right, and so this is the Clouds card. And we have the King of Clubs up there. This is one of the extra cards. It is the Bedroom. And this is a card related to sex. Here we have a Letter. The Whip. So the colorfulness of these cards super appeals to me. This is the Clover. I love the color scheme. The backs and the fronts are really different in their color scheme. I happen to really enjoy that. But it also, this is the Stork, the Queen of Hearts. We have a Garden, Heart for the Jack of Hearts. We have a Bouquet for the Queen of Spades. We have the Tower. I watched a YouTube video walkthrough on this deck. I will find it and put it in the description box. And the walkthrough was by a Syrian reader who is able to talk a lot about the images and the places, having been to Lebanon. And there's real places represented in this deck, and it's gorgeous. Here we have the Snake and the Queen of Clubs. Here we have the Child and the Jack of Spades. They're playing a game of marbles. We have the Cross. The art in here is so rich in detail. We have the moon. It's reflected in here. The reflection is broken up, giving us a sense of waves. It's fabulous. We see like the shadow. So this is one of the people cards. Here we have the book. The tree. The key. We have the ring, the sun, spirit. It's one of the extras. The extras don't have a card symbol on them, which also helps. It helped me learn them and identify them quickly, actually. So that was useful as someone who is using them. This is the star, dog, the architecture you see in the cards, the land, all the detail is, everything's in wonderful detail. The lilies, the king of spades, and the fish, the king of diamonds. I love these fish. They're colorful. These cards are just beautiful. When you see them in a line, you start to see this tile pattern that's in between that I think makes me think of the sea, of waves. This is market. This is a card about work. It's also one of the extras. The other person or consultant card. Queen of Diamonds, the crossroads. The bear. The birds. The scythe, which is the Jack of Diamonds. The coffin. The anchor. The house, which is the King of Hearts. The fox. The ship. The incense burner, also one of the 4 extras. Isn't that beautiful? And the mountain. So that is a deck, folks. This is the Rana George Lenormand. I will shuffle it for you all, and perhaps we'll pull just a few cards. We'll just do 9 cards. I feel like we're going to need to pull this out. All right. We're going to do a 9-card spread so it actually fits on here. All right. So we have child, spirit, anchor, tree, myself, book, ring, letter, and mice. What did I call that when I was flipping through it? That's the mice. All right. And let's take a look through the book so we get a bit of, you know, a feel here for what is going on. All right. So we're going to see like what is going on directly with the woman here, with me. And so we see the tree, which she is looking at, and we see trees in the background there. The tree card used for physical, spiritual, mental health. Just look at the surrounding cards to describe the situation in a reading. The tree brings patience, fortitude, tolerance, vitality, and stamina. It can also mean being rooted, branching out, holding on, slow and steady, grounding, reaching out and connecting. It tells us to endure the situation for a while and give it some time. The tree also connects us with our ancestors, our family, and people around us. So we're looking at time to get rooted, right? That's when we're looking at what is needing to go on. And I'm sort of called now to look at the child and the ring. And so the child is card 13. The child card brings in the idea of have fun, enjoy, play, feel young, and be spontaneous. It also talks about beginnings and the start of something new. Pretending on the context, it can convey the act of diminishing, curtailing, waning, minimizing, and shrinking, depending on the cards around it. The child also describes being juvenile, immature, inexperienced, childish, or innocent. And the ring at number 25 The ring is a symbol of completion and coming together for a partnership, agreement, reunion, commitment, or marriage. It can also be referring to a cycle. The ring can also be about contracts and deals, anything binding, uniting. The ring is a promise, but it can be a trap with negative cards around it. So really we see a beginning and the need to get rooted in order to fulfill what, I am here to do. To be patient ties into childhood. Like, you shouldn't rush childhood. It's a stage. Things take time. You'll regret wasting childhood when you're older. And so we all know that I'm, in a cooperative living situation, not like officially people created. We're going to turn it into a housing land trust. So, time. This is constantly a message for me to be okay with time expectations. I tend to set them too hastily, right? So we're going to look at this next line here, right? Where we have the spirit card, which is number 37. The spirit card brings in the third eye chakra, the I see factor into the reading, and what your real eyes cannot see. This card represents the feelings and the little pulses of intuition we get that we often brush off with our self-doubts. The spirit card reminds us that we are not alone and to listen and believe in our gut feelings and our hunches. It calls us to pay attention to all synchronicities happening around us. So to do that, you can't be moving too fast. You have to take the time. Children often have the ability to see and understand spirit, and we adults don't. So we can see that playing into that. And so I'm not going to finish reading that because that's where that seems to play in. And then we have the woman card. Does it say anything special about it? Most of the time it talks to the consultant. Yes, that's what we're doing with it. All right, the letter, which is, here. When we see the letter in our spread, it usually is talking about a form of communication or written document in our lives. This can be email, text, blog, Facebook message, or visual post. It also represents any type of paperwork, forms, bills, registrations, applications, tests, receipts, cash, homework, ballots, blah, 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 blah. So I know immediately that while it's telling me that this aspect, spirit, that childhood innocence, getting rooted, taking time is all well and good, there is paperwork stuff that I, procrastinate the most with that also needs to be done for the various things that come together, including my finances. So that is important. And where does this take us? We've got 35, the anchor, In a reading, the anchor brings weight and holds things down or in place. It brings stability, dependability, and comforting feelings of things remaining unchanging. I really think this is about we're coming into stability. It can be a shackle. It can be these other things. And what I could take from that is like, I could get so caught up here that I'm not taking care of practical things. So stability is coming with the blending of these two things, but one could easily be an anchor weighing down and causing, we're going to see loss over here in the other. We have the book number 26. The book holds your secret stories, projects, work, ledger, script, research, and all your mysterious hidden plans. The book holds everything I'm doing. It needs, like, you know, these things done. That stability helps my plans come. A balance helps me hold everything together a whole lot better. Learning, studying, searching. The book tells you to dig deeper and look further into a situation. And so, you know, I do need to look further into these situations. How can they make me more rooted? How can they bring everything together? And it also can tell us that the answers aren't all coming forward. So I know there's going to be stability. I don't know exactly how things are going to turn out, which is something I think is important and good to know sometimes. But I do know I will need to dig deeper. And number 23, the mice. I'm not sure what I called those when I was going through this, because I don't remember saying mice. There's been a few times where I was like, oh, a feast. And then I was like, oh, actually, there's mice there. The mice part card brings in the feeling of worry and stress, which, you know, this is where I struggle, right? I have to get it done. And when I do, there will be stability in these areas too. And if I don't get it done, I can look forward to these difficulties. Misgivings, hidden problems, determination, fear, lack of something. So I need to bring determination into this card, right? I need to bring in that determination, and I need to bring in that fear of what happens if I don't bring in that determination. On the good news, I got some of my financial stuff in order tonight before I took a break to do this video, and I got it finished, and I'm pretty pleased with those baby steps. So that's a sense of what the book and the cards are like in this deck. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's mass market. It is not expensive. And I really needed that after my upset with the Femina Tarot. This is a deck I enjoyed using out of the box. I didn't use the guidebook when I was reading on the hotlines. It's a lovely guidebook. I will probably read through it fully at some point. But what I most enjoyed getting out of the parts of the guidebook I did read was this understanding of how much this deck was created by Rana George for Rana George, and creating what she really wanted and needed in a deck created an incredibly beautiful, usable deck. And I am really happy with this. And talk to y'all later.